Hi, this is Jamie Magrich coming to you from my craft table today. Today I'd like to show you how to make this card. And let me show you what we're going to need. We're going to need a stamp block, a D block. We're going to need our Big Shot and two of the square framelets, the largest and then the third largest of the regular squares. We're going to be using the Home To Roost stamp set. We're going to be using the rooster, the wheat, and just a note. And then we're going to be using a hardwood background. We also have some dimensionals, a memento ink pad, crumb cake ink pad. We have some markers. I have a couple of Stampin' Up markers to do the background with, a pool party, and a pear pizzazz. And then for coloring in the rooster, I have light cherry cobbler, dark cherry cobbler, light night of navy. I have the Cajun Craze combo, dark Bermuda Bay, and the soft suede. I have a pair of snips to cut out the rooster because there's not a die for it. For paper, I have a scrap paper that is to stamp the rooster on and to do the background square with. I have a piece of Whisper White, which is 4 1/8 by 5 3/8. I have a piece of Cherry Cobbler, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I have a piece of the thick white, which is 5 1/2 by 8 1/2, scored and folded at 4 1/4. Okay, then I have a piece of scratch paper for when we do the background. So let's start with that and get that out of the way. Let's start with stamping that background, because we've got to do that before we can even use those. Okay, so we're going to take the 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 inch piece of Whisper White, and oh, I forgot one ink pad, a Cherry Cobbler ink pad. Cherry Cobbler. Okay, so we're going to open the ink pad. Oh, there's hair in it. Imagine that. Okay, we're going to ink it up. I have it stuck to my stamp case. I find I can use it just fine right in there, because I'm going to ink it up, and I'm going to place the paper on top of it and use that scratch paper to push it down and make sure it's inked up everywhere. Oh, this is the one I haven't used a whole lot, and it's really stiff. Alright, let's just set this down. I just smudged it a little, but that's alright. Put the paper on top and just rub it. Try not to let it move underneath. Okay, like that. Pick that up. Perfect. We're done with this. I'm going to put this right on top of it. Move that out of the way. Okay, now we're going to take our Cherry Cobbler piece, which is 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and our piece that we just stamped. Let's make sure it's dry first. We're going to lay it on here. There's going to be an 1/8 of an inch border around. We're not going to glue it on yet. Although we probably could. Nope, because I have to cut out a piece out of the red one afterwards. Okay, let's bring in the Big Shot. I had to move a couple of things. There isn't room on this layout to do what I like to do. There just isn't room. Okay, so we're going to bring in the Big Shot. Come up with an alternative here. This isn't working so well. All right. Well, I guess I'll do it at this side because you can't see the other side. All right. So we're going to our sandwich is hair everywhere. The Big Shot platform, the thin die adapter, a cutting plate. I'm going to use the flat one on the bottom because it'll work better for that video. Make sure it's square on your plates. Okay, now we're going to put these two. Make sure they're layered the way you want them. Okay, then we're going to take the smallest of the two squares. I'm going to put it in up here like where a window would be. Square it up as best you can. I have a piece of Post-it note. Just to hold it down a little bit. That it stays where I want it. Put the other plate on top and run it through the Big Shot. Sorry, the camera's wiggling. Everything's wiggling. Okay. We're going to remove the top piece. Post-it note again. Okay, so we got those. We cut out both layers. And we don't need those for this card. We just need the top one. Okay, now we need the larger of the two. And we're going to frame up this one. We're going to cut out this frame piece. Square, but if it isn't, that's alright too. Put the plate on top, run it through. Okay, we're done with the Big Shot, so let's get that out of our way. Everything's still in frame. I don't think it is. I think everything moved. Okay, so then we have the little frame, this piece. Now we're going to layer this back on top of this red piece. Get this Big Shot plates out of here. Bring this back in so I know where I'm working. Stay in frame. All right. Here we go. We're going to use the Tombow multi. And we're going to adhere this top stamped wood grain piece on top of the cherry cobbler piece, leaving a eighth of an inch around the borders on the outside. I didn't cut this square because it's a little wonky at the bottom, but that's alright. this little piece we're going to put right on top of here so it looks like a window frame. Let's add a little bit. The inside frame piece is the same size as the window that we have here. So if it's not quite square, it'll make it look a little more square, but it's a barn, so it's alright if it isn't. Okay, so we'll set this piece aside for now. Now we're going to bring in this piece of scrap. And we're going to bring in our stamp block and the two water Stampin' Right markers. We've done this before several times. We're going to scribble the bottom of the block with the green. And the top of the block with the blue. Just scribble it on. And this is the alright. And we're going to spritz it with, I have rubbing alcohol, but you can use water as well. I'm going to do that off camera because I don't want my whole desk wet. And I squirt it about 5 times. Then I'm going to use the block as a stamp and stamp this right down. Alright, hopefully that came out because my memory card got full. And I've stamped the image onto here. Now I'm going to take the wheat image and the crumb cake ink. And we're going to stamp this background. We're going to stamp it solid, then we're going to stamp it again. So there's some forward and there's some in the background. Okay, like that. That looks good. Okay, along with the crumb cake ink. Now we're going to take our rooster, and on this part over here, with the memento ink, we're going to stamp our rooster. Make sure it's good and inky. Still missing part. Alright. Stamp down here. Perfect. Okay. Up in this top corner of this little part, we're going to stamp the just a note. Perfect. Alright. And now we're going to color our rooster on. And there's no right or wrong to this. Roosters come in many different colors and combinations. So the first thing I'm going to do is take, I think I'm going to use the soft suede. I think I colored this bottom part, the soft suede, a little bit here. Just, oops, I don't know why I'm using that small end. And it doesn't have to be neat. This is a really sketchy looking coloring, and I colored this part here, soft suede. And then I took the Cajun Craze, the soft one, the light one, and I colored down here all this belly part. And I just did some in there. A little bit of darker down in here underneath the wing. I took the cherry cobbler, cherry cobbler, and I colored the wattle and the comb. Okay, then I took the Bermuda Bay and I colored this part. I don't know why I keep opening the small part. I know there's a line and I'm just not seeing it. Some of this wing. And again, just wisping out this tail. Okay. You could leave it at that, that's pretty good, but I just wanted to add a little bit more definition into this. So I took the Light Night of Navy and added just a little bit into the darker areas of the bird. Okay, then we're going to fussy cut this out. I need to cut this apart here so I don't accidentally cut into that. And you don't have to be real detailed or fancy with it. Just give yourself a little bit of a border around. Bottom part I'm not going to worry about because we're cutting it. It's going to be behind the window. I think most of y'all know how to cut, so I'm not even going to go over how to cut because for everybody it's a little bit different. I'm not the best cutter. Don't always get smooth lines. But to get the smoothest lines, try not to open and close the scissors too much, and don't close them all the way. That's when you get that sharp little tchotchke edge. Alright, he's cut out. Now we can assemble our card. Okay, so we're going to take the Just a Note piece. We're going to center it up in the back of this card and glue that in place. We want the Just a Note straight, so we'll glue that on there. Use the Tombow. I'm going to put glue here. Well, I can't get it to come out now, figures. Alright. Get another one out. So I'm just putting a little tiny bit of glue around this edge. Okay, then I'm going to put this on my work surface and hover this over it so that there's not an edge sticking out the bottom or the sides. We've got it where we want it. Push it down. Alright, now we're going to take our rooster. We're going to put 2 dimensionals on the back of it. One on the tail, one on the body. I put a little tiny bit of glue on the bottom here. And we're going to slide the feet part underneath the fence so it looks like he's standing on the edge of the window. Take the backings off our dimensionals, set him down. And then we can adhere this to the front of our card. And it's exactly, it should be the same size. That's the front of the card. There we go. There's our card that we just did. Here's the one I did earlier. Each rooster's going to be a little bit different. But there you go. Well, thank you very much for joining me at my craft table.